Imekuwa tricky, kuna shimo alipanda miti na hivi sasa ako kamiti kwa jela. Hii situation imegeuka tricky, kwa hivyo usiniweke kamba kwa shingo. Pombe, sigara, naweza wacha bila kung'ang'ana, lakini hawa wasichana vile nawapenda ni kama laana. Oh yeah, yeah. Pombe, sigara, naweza wacha bila kung'ang'ana, lakini hawa wasichana vile nawapenda ni kama laana. Oh yeah, yeah.
Kitendawili, ukiona mgema nasifiwa, kuna mlevi ameanguka chini. Kitendawili, venye unafinya mvinyo ndio venye mvinyo inafinya figo. Change or perish, change or perish, change.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mungu nisamehe, ilikuwa niingie church kesho, nikajipata kwa form ya kamnyweso. Saibashi imegeuka jam session, niko lucky sina fiance, naweza rudi home any day. Na hii bashi na madenge, na wengi wao tu ni malele. Jitete, sijali, kantalala nje leo sijali, ni lazima niongeze makali, tunibasha mtu leo pahali. So sijali, sijali, kantalala nje leo sijali, ni lazima niongeze makali, tunibasha mtu leo pahali. So sijali, tupige sherehe hadi kesho, wakulewa wacha tulewe, zikisha tuongezewe hadi kesho. Tupige sherehe hadi kesho, wakulewa wacha tulewe, zikisha tuongezewe hadi kesho. Kwa hewa na mageuso wamebeba, wazuri wa kisauni wamedunga madera. Leo ni kama gera, tuni lazima nitadania dania. Unajua kwangu sherehe ni sheria, kuna vile niko juu ya dunia. Cloud9 ukizima nilipukia. Sijali, kantalala nje leo sijali, ni lazima niongeze makali, tunibasha mtu leo pahali. So sijali, sijali, kantalala nje leo sijali, ni lazima niongeze makali, tunibasha mtu leo pahali. So sijali, no. Sherehe hadi kesho, wakulewa wacha tulewe, zikisha tuongezewe hadi kesho. Sherehe hadi kesho, wakulewa wacha tulewe, zikisha tuongezewe hadi kesho.
Ikibamba sana basi pull it up. Selector cheza dopa once from the top. Whoa.
Don't show my bed, don't show my bed, don't show my bed.
Tunisha speaker, we mash it up. Fire. lakini juu ya bidii tunazoza, na ni magrami tundo tunangoja. Donjo maber kwa mdomo ni kuber, na doba Johnny Mwaki ukipenda email. Napendwa na mapen na wote Johnny 10, nikikusalimia unanijibu tu maber. Napenda vile magala wamekuja wamebeba. Napenda vile mamanzi wamekuja wameiva. Ikibamba sana basi pull it up. Selecta cheza doba once from the top. Whoa.
Dojo maber, dojo maber, dojo maber.
Tunisha speaker, we mash it up. Fire, we light it up. Whoa.
Dojo maber, dojo maber, dojo maber.
Makwela na majaji wanazitoka, stare ubamba sana baada ya mboka. Masase watiaji tunawatoka, salamu wanga moja na ni top shota. But originally, ofla wanga mkali, ninasumbuka town baka mashinani. Kolabo
hauna moto na bado timing unatolewa, bora mpishi jumpishi bora shaolewa, easy but niko easy ganji kitolewa.
Baby, don't catch me there. Me gonna wake you in the air. I me say touch me there. Sugar now flow, find me there. Hakuna cherry bag, nikishaka nyaga feel. I'm always on time. Kila kitu alright.
जी हाँ, जी हाँ। Hello, hello. Good morning, afternoon. Tech team, kindly mute on your side. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone watching us from X, TikTok, YouTube, and everyone who is here. Welcome to the final day of the 12 nights of Christmas Bonanza, which is marketing day. I am Abigail Jasmine, your moderator, and we're so excited to have. It's been an incredible journey over the past days. We've learned, shared, and connected as a community, and today is no exception. Let's finish strong. We have amazing speakers today. We have Motomoto and we have Miss Wanjiru Moka. Our first speaker today is Miss Wanjiru Moka, a marketing professional with over 7 years of experience driving strategy and storytelling across retail and Web3 ecosystems. She's passionate about educating builders and and helping them grow their projects. Wanjiru, hello, hello. The floor is yours.
Hey, Abby, thank you so much for that intro. Am I audible? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for putting this together. Shout out to Aziz, the entire Build It Out team, and to all the other community members who are joining. I'm really excited about today's chat. I'll just try and
Hello,
see if you can
hello.
see me. Can you see me? Hello?
Hello, yes, we can see you. Yes, we can see you, but can you kindly adjust your mic?
There's an echo, right?
Yeah,
What about now? Is it better?
it's better than before.
Okay, I've just turned down my volume. But I hope that I'm audible. I'm really excited to be here. So, Abby, Aziz, feel free to guide me through. Should I get started or would you like to say something first?
The floor is yours, Miss Maya.
Thank you so much. So, like Abby said, I have a background in marketing and I actually put together like a quick little presentation for you guys just so that you have visual cues as I'm speaking. But I have a background in marketing. I stumbled into the Web3 space 2 years ago through the NFT world, and I've been in here ever since. And it's just been great seeing like this space grow, different communities like Build a DAO come up together, bringing people together. I think the best thing about Web3 is that people love learning together, the community aspect. And so I'm really excited to chat away. Let me know if I can.
Yes, Miss Wanjiru, you can.
Okay, great. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So when Aziz and the team shared with me like they wanted me to talk about marketing and the different pointers, I put together a presentation that is both for the beginner and the intermediate viewer participant. I don't want this to be like a lecture. We are not in lecture hall. I want this to be very engaging. I want to hear from you guys. I also want to hear from Aziz, who's our fellow speaker. So I put together this little slide deck of marketing ideas, marketing tips. And the first thing I wanted to share about was more about me and what led me into Web3, like what was my story and how did I end up being in marketing. So when I finished uni, I went straight into the ad agency world. Back then, when Facebook was still a thing, I hope my age is not showing, but that's when you could run Facebook ads and you get like really good reach, great impressions. And so I started off in digital marketing there, and eventually I just continued to grow my skill set, mainly with a focus on marketing strategy and execution. And then I jumped into the Web3 space, and I noticed something, which is also why I'm really, really happy that Aziz and team put together today's talk, because the tech ecosystem is still growing, and supporting roles like marketing, like legal, all these other aspects tend to be forgotten. And as much as I'm calling them supporting, they are really important, right? Because you can't have wallet signups if people don't know about your wallet. People can't collect your NFTs if they don't know about it. So we are seeing this shift where people in the Web3 space are realizing, like, oh my gosh, marketing is important. We need to be out there yapping. And so I'm happy to be one of the people who are part of this space and who is growing, learning, and now sharing with you guys. And I'm really passionate about educating people. One thing about this space, and then as we move on, I'll share with you, is that education is key first. Before you can even go into the deeper aspects of things. So I really love like chatting with especially like newbies in the space and just explaining to them what blockchain is, and also empowering builders and founders, because a lot of builders and founders have a technical background, and so they need us marketing folks to show them the way when it comes to getting the right attention. And I'm also a big believer in the power of creative storytelling. And as we go into this presentation, I'll talk a bit more about this, but there is a shift in the marketing world where we're moving away from the aggressive marketing tactics into softer, more emotive tactics like storytelling. So a bit of an introduction is that the way I view marketing is that it's both a science and an art, right? It's both math and philosophy, right? It's an understanding of a target audience's needs, and not just understanding that, but once you do, communicating the value of a product so that these people can take meaningful action. So when you think of marketing, some people see it more on the creative side, which it is, but as we go forward, especially when I talk about growth and performance marketing, you'll see the science part of it, the math, data part of it. And as I continue my presentation, Aziz, as my fellow speaker, feel free to jump in during any slide and just like share your 2 cents. It will be very valuable as well. So something that many people like confuse is they usually view marketing as more of something that is like sales, right? So there tends to be like confusion. It's like, is marketing sales? Is sales marketing? They are related. I'd call them sisters, but they are not the same. So marketing is what the activities you take to attract and nurture attention, right? And then sales is the conversion, getting people to close the deal. And when I think of the basics, I would definitely say the first thing is to understand your audience. If there's something you leave out of this conversation with, it's this first bit, that you need to understand your audience. Whatever you do, like that's the most important thing. So that's the who. Who is your audience? What are their challenges? What are their desires? What are their goals? What are their motivations? And once you figure that out, then you can go into your value proposition, the why. Why did you build that digital wallet? Why are you selling NFTs online? What is your why? The first thing, and how is that why tying back to there's something, right? You leave your target audience. So that's basically your value proposition. This first your why. It's you telling your audience like, this is why you need this product. This is why you need to sign up for Build a DAO. This is why you need to do this. This is why you need to do that, right? And really convincing them on that. And there's this word that over time, especially for those of you guys who are new to marketing in this tech space, you'll see this word come up a lot, and it's called product market fit, so PMF. And it's basically the sweet spot between what you're offering and what people need. So I'm sure some of you guys have had cravings before, like you want to eat about chocolate, you want crisps, you want maize, gali, it doesn't matter, whatever you're craving at that point when you're craving something. Let's say you're craving plantain. If you're craving plantain, you don't want someone to come over and give you chocolate because it's not the same. There's a reason you're craving that specific thing. So when you think about product market fit, think about cravings. Like that sweet spot where what you're offering is exactly what people out there need, right? And then we go into marketing channels. So how are people going to know about your why? How are you going to find them, right? This audience of yours. And we have different channels now, especially today, tons of different platforms that you can leverage to get the word out there about your product. And then finally, performance measurement. And I like to call that the so. Okay, you found out your who, you have your why, you figured out the how. And after you do all these activities, you come down and you're like, okay, how did this perform? How did things go? What was the result? So that's a performance measurement. So it's like, so what after that? After all these activities, what can we get out of it? So that's just a bit of an intro. And I'm going to go into brand building and positioning. And like I said, if anyone has a question, feel free to jump in, but there'll also be an AMA section at the end. So when you talk about brand building and positioning, branding is basically how you're perceived. And this talk, especially this portion, I know we're talking about probably a business, a community, but you can also apply this to your individual self. So branding is basically how people perceive you, right? So in the case of a company, like your stakeholders are your target audience, your investors, your employees, your competitors. It's your story, it's your voice, it's your visuals, it's your mission, it's how credible people think you are. All these aspects form a long-term asset that shapes trust and loyalty. Like when I think of branding, I think of the BA, the capital B, the small a, the D. Now I've come to correlate that to the Build a DAO community. When you think of the tick, the Nike swipe, you just see that tick, that's Nike, right? When you think of different like taglines, the better option, which is to be like Safaricom's tagline, you just see that tagline and you know like who that belongs to. So it's these identifiers, it's these things that come up and you're like, I know who that belongs to. And not just who that belongs to, this is how I feel about this particular brand or this particular company. And I definitely say there are just three core basics that you need to pay attention to when it comes to branding. So the first thing is to define your unique narrative. What is your story? What do you want people to know about you? What vibe, what knowledge do you want people to have about you? And this is something you like reinforce over and over again. And the next thing is your visual and verbal identity. So it could be the colors that you use, that specific graphic that is part of your logo, your verbal identity. If you think about certain like brands, how they even tweet online, that's a part of their brand. And then finally to have a clear purpose, like what is your mission, what is your vision, what are you seeking to achieve? And that should like basically ooze out of your brand and your branding activities. So when it comes to brand building and positioning, there's something that I recently touched on, and it's called brand culture. So I'll probably share with the team the videos. And I was one day just sitting and thinking as I was like looking at different brands, especially in Web3, different chains, different protocols. And I was trying to understand like why are some brands so well known, the community is like die hard for them, and others people are like, okay, whatever, you know. There's no big deal about it. So I did some digging and found this thing called brand culture, and it's basically like what a brand stands for, how it shows up, and how people feel when they interact with it. And this creative side. So it gets in like, it's not just about numbers, it's about how people feel, how people think. When you speak about a certain brand, right? What's the first thing that comes to mind? For example, I noticed the Builder DAO has a partnership with Lisk. If I was to ask you guys, like anyone in the audience, what's your thoughts on Lisk? How do you feel about Lisk? Yeah, I'd just love to hear from you and understand like your brand perception of Lisk.
Maybe I can start.
Mm-hmm.
What's my brand? What I see about List is that List is a big company, a company that has the funds and actually helps people, and it's really, if you're like part of List, you're like a big person in the ecosystem.
Nice. Yeah. Anyone else?
The GMs. So they are also very straightforward in what they want in terms of their targets. We are primarily businesses in the Web2 space transitioning into Web3, building sustainability in terms of the tech that the businesses can implement in their organizations.
Yeah, exactly. Like, funny thing is, I found out through Lisk, through the Lisk team. I believe his name is Santiago, and there's also Chidubem. And whenever I see their posts on Twitter, like they just always look happy, they're engaging with people, they're at events. And so for me, the way I perceive Lisk as a brand is that it's very collaborative, it's very engaging, it's very community centric, right? So that's a part of their brand, that's a part of their perception. So when it comes to brand culture, I created this like little onion, and it's basically just like layers of brand culture, with the deepest and most important layer being core beliefs and values. So for example, what does Lisk believe? What are their values, right? And then out of those values, how does the brand behave? What are their practices, right? And then finally, we have the external expression. So this is how we see them show up. Like the example I gave with the Lisk team being very engaging and being very community centric. So that's just a bit on brand culture. So the next thing I'll talk about is storytelling. So earlier on, I told you guys like I'm such a big believer in storytelling. We're seeing a shift in the marketing space. How many of you have ad blocks on your YouTube? So I've seen like two, three hands. Okay. So these days most people have ad blocks, and it's funny because some of you people have ad blocks actually work in marketing, right? Which is insane. So it's gotten to a point where just constantly being inundated with ads all the time. You want to watch this video that you want to inspire you, and then an ad of a coffee machine or an ad of Safaricom, Blueband, and as much as we use these brands, it's exhausting sometimes seeing them every day, especially in this way, aggressive marketing in terms of like ads popping up before a video, you're on a website, and you know how you're on a news website and you really want to read an article and it's just ads everywhere. And you're just feeling overstimulated, like, oh my God, guys, can I just read this article and leave, right? So, right, getting high on your own supply, like it just gets really, really overwhelming. So, there's a shift, like I said, and we're moving away from that type of marketing because people want to relate with brands differently. Not in a way that they're running away from the brand, but in a way that they want to engage with it. And so it's interesting that this is the Christmas Bonanza, and there's this viral ad that recently went out by, let me call it a company, because I'd want to hear from you guys after you watch the ad. I'm going to play it for you. I'd want to know what you think this is. And please don't Google, don't Google. I just want to have your most organic reactions. So this is an ad called The Loved One, a Christmas ad by a company called Intermarsh. And I'm going to play it for you guys, and you let me know what you think.
We can't see your screen, Miss Maya, on the presentation.
Mais il faut pas, parce qu'à la base, le premier loup, il vit dans la forêt et il y a plein de copains. Eh ben, c'est pas. En même temps, si tu manges pas tout le monde, je suis un loup. Qu'est-ce que tu veux que je mange? Déjà, pas les gens, des carottes, des champignons, des fruits, des légumes. Ça se comment, les légumes?
Just checking in. Can you guys hear and see everything, right?
No, we can only see the slides and we can hear the sound, but we can't see the video.
Really, you can't see the video? Sorry about that. Let me try play it directly from YouTube. And now, can you see?
I think I'll just confirm. No, I think you just need to share the screen. We'll come back to share screen, to sharing presentation. Share the entire screen.
Share instead. Okay, sorry guys, let me give that a try. Okay, perfect. And now?
We're with you now.
You're with me, perfect. Okay, let me play it for you.
Don't know if it's a me. No, it's the sound. I couldn't hear the sound this time. Guys, raise your hands, eh?
We're good. Sorry, I could hear like some background noise.
Yeah, this time we couldn't hear the sound.
Oh, you couldn't hear this? Oh no. Okay, let me try again. Can you see this video on your screen?
Yeah, we see the wolves and now we see the family.
Could you hear this?
There's a sound.
Okay, perfect. Sorry again. Let me do it again.
Ah, mais il faut pas, parce qu'à la base, le premier loup, il vivait dans la forêt et il n'y avait pas de copains. Eh ben, ça va. En même temps, si tu mangeais pas tout le monde... Je suis un loup. Qu'est-ce que tu veux que je mange? Ah, déjà, pas des gens. Des carottes, des champignons, des fruits, des légumes. Ça chasse comment, les légumes? Laisse tomber. J'espère que j'attends. Qui pourrait me dire qui je suis? Que j'ai bien peur toute ma vie d'être incompris. Car aujourd'hui, je me sens mal aimé. Je suis le mal aimé. Non, mais c'est pas de... Que je veux me lever. Et on cherche à savoir d'où me viennent mes joies. Si les apparences disent fois contre moi, je ne suis pas ce que l'on croit. Contre l'aventure de chaque jour, je changerai demain la joie d'un seul amour. Je suis là comme maman, mal aimé, je suis le mal aimé. Car je suis mal aimé, je suis le mal aimé. Et c'est pour ça que...
Okay, so I would love to know what you guys thought of that ad. You can feel free to share in the chat and what kind of company you think Intermarsh is. I see family, community love as the themes. What else? Like, feel free to share. If you want to switch on your mic and share like what you thought or what kind of company you think, feel free to just jump in.
Could you drop the link to the video in the chat? I'd like to use it as a reference as well.
Of
And
course.
yeah, I think it's I mean I feel like it's an international company. It has roots in multiple regions, and I mean I feel like there's something to do with either gift cards or food.
Pardon, gift cards or
Food, something to do with food.
food? Okay, you're close. You're close. Someone else.
I'll watch it one more time.
Anyone else? I'm seeing Philogista, I'm seeing Bessie, Freddie, Suze, Steve,
Um,
Nitos. From you, tell us what you think. Uh-huh.
to add, maybe I can take what Motimoto had said. It's more of a community-driven company, and
Mhm.
it's not just about sharing food. It's actually about sharing knowledge, like everything actually. If it's like an idea, they work on it together
Mm.
and things like that. And they don't judge a book by its cover, so they don't judge a person with how they look. They they use the act of like kindness and like how you actually work and not how you look or how you dress or how you talk or if you have like a different accent. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love like everyone's different interpretations of it. The rest, feel free to like drop your thoughts in the chat. So I'm going to shock you. Aziz was, I think, the closest. Intermarsh is actually a chain of supermarkets, right? And this is their latest Christmas ad for this upcoming holiday season. And if you notice something throughout the video, like there wasn't a point where the brand was mentioned. It was only at the end when you see the logo, right? And even before that, they were focusing more on the emotive experience of coming together, let's eat together. So this is what I was talking about storytelling, the shift from like website ads, traditional advertising on TV to now telling stories. And so it's basically about this story about a wolf who wants to be a part of the community, the animals, but of course they're all scared of him because he eats them. And how he was like, you know what, let me try and cook a meal and hopefully I'll be introduced to the Christmas dinner table. So those themes of like family, love, community, uh, human emotions, even if it's animals being portrayed, it's a human experience that's being communicated. And at the end, you can see the child who was scared of the wolf toy was actually sleeping with it. And so instead of this company being like, hey guys, come and do your Christmas shopping, buy your chicken, buy your juices and wine and all that, they were like, let's make people feel something this Christmas. Let's show them we understand the human experience of wanting to sit at a table with everyone else and eating together and enjoying together. And so this company is like kind of just at the background, it's enabling those feelings, right? Because if you're able to do your shopping and buy the food and cook and eat together, then you'll have that final experience of everyone seated at the dinner table, regardless of who you are. So this is now how marketing is shifting. Like these days, I've even seen job ads, especially in Web3, where they're like saying we're looking for a storyteller. They don't even use the word marketer, right? Maybe in parts of the job description, but the word storyteller, it's like a title now, because they've seen the impact of having like such advertising, of having such content put out there where people feel something. I had never heard of this supermarket in my life until I saw this ad a few days ago. And now it has like millions of views. And it's just brought up that conversation of how this is how we should be doing marketing, right? Through a story. Even we have the Barbie movie that came out a few years ago. And instead of Mattel, which is the company that manufactures Barbie dolls, just throwing out ads and being like, buy more Barbie dolls, they were like, you know what? Why don't we create a story? What is Barbie's story? How did she get to be the doll that she is? So, as much as Barbie is a doll, we are putting these like human experiences in the story again. So, this is the new like wave or the new like movement that's happening in the marketing space that I think all of us should pay attention to. So when it comes to growth strategies and channels, I'd say growth in general can refer to increase. When you think of the word growth, you think of increase. So increased signups, purchases, revenue. And growth marketing is basically just the process of using data gained through marketing campaigns to drive growth. And I highlighted this word, experimentation, because that's basically what growth marketing is, right? You're putting stuff out there and then you're going back, you're looking at your data, you're looking at your analytics to figure out, okay, so this ad did well on Facebook but flopped on YouTube, or this video did really well on TikTok but failed on Twitter. So once you experiment, then you're like, okay, so we'll focus the ads on Facebook and TikTok because that's where we got the most traction. And the basics are the same. Like I said, you're testing out different types of ads or different pieces of content. And then once you test them out, you analyze. So you see, okay, this did well here, this did well over here, or it didn't do well over here. And then you iterate, which is basically just using the information you've gotten and optimizing it. So using that data and being like, okay, so we'll no longer pour money into running the ad on YouTube, on Twitter. We'll just focus on Facebook and TikTok because that's where it did well. And this just helps you scale. And when it comes to channels, we have organic channels like community content partnerships, for example, through Build a DAO, that's a community. We have content. I've seen some people in the Web3 space who are really actively creating content, including even protocols, chains, and partnerships as well. And then, of course, there's a paid channels, which is like proper paid advertising and the use of paid influencers or KOLs. So that's a bit about growth. And then when it comes to performance marketing, the difference is in performance marketing, you're focusing on paying only when a specific action is done. So think of affiliate partnerships. So affiliate partnerships are like, let me say, commission-based agreements. So for example, if the Builder DAO team says, hey, Wanjiro, we need you to upload all the posters from the Christmas Bonanza, and we'll pay you based on how many people click the link to sign up, or how many people sign up for our sessions. So I'll only be paid in that case depending on the actions that people took. So you only pay for trackable results, versus here you're kind of like experimenting, you're testing different things out. Here it's just paying based on trackable results, so clicks, sales, and everything in between. And I feel like performance marketing is great, especially if you're just starting out a business. I know some of you guys are building different, like whether it's wallets, protocols, P2Ps, and you maybe don't have that much money to pour into like your product and just be all over the place. So energy on what's actually working. And the basics of performance marketing are defining your campaign objectives. What do I want? For example, I want people to click the link to the Builder DAO website. Attribution, it's basically figuring out how people ended up clicking that link, for example. So was it through Twitter? Was it through the WhatsApp group? So attribution is the way with which you track how things came to be. And then you check your ROI, return on investment. So for example, as an affiliate partner, I was able to bring in 30 people, for example, into the community, and they invested this amount of money into me doing that. So you kind of gauge, like, was it worth it? Was it not? So these two, I'd say, are like the science part of marketing, right? You're using hard data, math, you're looking at graphs, you're doing comparisons so that you make sure that your efforts are actually growing fruit versus just putting yourself out there through and through. Versus with brand building, it's long term, right? You want to create a certain perception. And to create a perception, it's not a 3 month or 6 month thing. This is something you'll have to do over time for years and years. And for example, these two pieces of content will affect these companies over time to come, right? So that's a bit about that. And before I go into the marketing evolution we have now, I would love to hear from you guys. If each of you can just share in the chat what businesses you're building or what challenges you're having in marketing. It could even be building your personal brand, for example, on X or LinkedIn. Like, what are your gripes with marketing and what help would you want from it? Because I don't want to just sit here and ramble. I want to make sure that I'm helping out with everyone who's here and just hearing from you and understanding like the struggles you're having. So feel free to share in the chat. I see Bessie saying consistency, and I'm like, yes. I overstand, like, I definitely relate. Marketing is all about doing something over and over again. And again, like I said, experimenting, testing things out. It's not a one time thing, it's a commitment. I usually say, like, marketing is a commitment. You need to keep at it over and over again. So consistency. Who else? It was the art of storytelling. Please check out that video of the wolf ad. Abby's saying getting traction. Yes. So with Bessie, I'd say, like, with consistency, it's start with baby steps. You can even say, I'll be posting once a week on Twitter or LinkedIn. One thing I've noticed with people who struggle with consistency is you put really like huge goals that are overwhelming. Start small and then build from there. With the art of storytelling, I would say you need to allow your creative mind to run free. And there's a bit of vulnerability involved, right? Because you're trying to like tap into those human aspects, those deep human aspects. So I would say read books, watch films, have conversations, especially in creative spaces, understand different perspectives. Because for you to be a good storyteller, you need to understand the human experience, and you also need to have like an open mind. Like, you can't be closed-minded and rigid. So storytelling needs, like, I'd say, creative and mental flexibility. Abby, getting traction. So I think you should definitely look into growth marketing and also performance marketing. And then test out different things. Like, you can do a thread on Twitter and see how it goes, or do a video and see how it goes. And Twitter, especially X Premium, offers you those metrics at the back end. So you can check out and see, like, okay, this is what people liked most, this is what people commented on most. And then over time, you can iterate, you can shift things. So if videos are doing really well for you, post more videos, right? And that way you'll continue to like get and maintain the traction that you want. So Soze, you're asking marketing strategy for, so it could be for your company, it could be like for your personal brand, it doesn't really matter. Because some of the fundamentals are basically the same. But yeah, thank you for like sharing this. It gives me a good idea of like the struggles you guys are going through and the shifts that are happening. And speaking of shifts, I want us to talk about the Web 2 to Web 3 marketing evolution. Probably some of us are still new to Web 3. Some of you guys are OGs over here. But basically, it's not going to look exactly the same when we think about marketing, because the Web3 space is very dynamic and quite different from what we're used to. So in Web2, we think of customers, right? We think of audiences, customers, but in Web3, there's more of a focus on community. It's not just about talking like at people and saying, hey, buy our product or sign up for my wallet. No, you need to form a community first. You need to understand your community. And this really helps because you're able to like get feedback about your product, your members' community. I didn't even learn about it from the company directly, right? So members can really. Sentiment is basically just like people's collective thought on your project or on your product. And those thoughts can actually influence token price and traction. We've seen this with like meme coins and also like with NFT artists, where if people have great sentiment and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to have this NFT or this wallet is the best. I've been able to like bridge this gap of sending money. It took me this amount to really influence your product as well. So again, moving from the word customer into community. And another thing in Web2 I noticed is that the strategies are opaque. And that basically means it's closed off. Like, how many of you guys know the strategy of Apple right now, the strategy of Safaricom right now, the strategy of MTN, the strategy of Four Cousins, the wine company? Like, we don't know. These conversations are being had in closed rooms. And well, there's still a bit of that in Web3. I've just noticed like the space is more open to feedback from the community. So there's more trust, there's a focus on transparency, like their communication, there's clear communication about like risks and progress. So if you're launching this wallet, if you're launching this DAO, like what are things people can look forward to? And I think what I love about marketing in Web3 is how like collaborative it is with the community as well. It's not as one-sided as Web2 marketing is. So the roadmaps are public, the updates are public. Many times you see updates about a company straight from the founder, like with Coinbase, you see from Brian Armstrong. Vitalik posts a lot on Twitter, so he also updates us on what's going on with the Ethereum Foundation. Like, it's very open versus before in Web2, it's like there has to be this official memo that has to be put together and sent only to the official company page. But now things are so different, they're so open, and even we have more open source code when it comes to building, which I didn't really hear about so much from like engineers and developers in Web2. The other thing I'm seeing shift is what I said again, team campaigns into community co-creation. So things are not just happening in a closed room. We've seen how memes go viral and become part of a company's branding. We see ambassadors run local events, right? Versus like in Web2, you won't really see an ambassador for Microsoft, for example, running an event, right? But in Web2, how many times throughout the year do you see like events being run by ambassadors in different parts of the world, right? We have contributors writing threads, tutorials, videos about protocols, about products. I learned so much from contributors, even more so than the company itself online. We know that DAOs were formed for governance, and so they can vote on marketing direction. It's not just happening with the C-suite executive directors of marketing. Like, the space is very collaborative. So it's more circular versus like being top down, right? And then finally, I've noticed a shift again, from ads to incentives. So there are airdrops constantly. We have on-chain loyalty programs, referral incentives, quests. Quests are basically actions that you take to get an incentive. We have bounties, point systems. All these are different ways of like keeping people active in this space. And notice with incentives, you're actually doing something, right? So with the airdrop, with the loyalty programs, with the quests, versus an ad you're sitting and watching. With incentives, you're actively participating. So that's the fourth thing I can say I've seen like shift in this space. Yeah, so that's just a quick run through on the shifts in the space. And I want to go into AMA's feedback from you guys, questions you have, 2 cents from Aziz. What do you think? Are there any other things that you'd like to add on when it comes to marketing in this space?
GM, always a pleasure. You know me and you. We can talk about marketing all day, 365. So it's been amazing to hear that, I always forget that we started when marketing was just put money on the problem and the sales will come, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the Facebook days when you just put 1,000 here and click boost, and in 2 3 days you have people at the event. Those days marketing was very new and nuanced, and I mean it takes me back to something you said. It's not really about. I mean, marketing isn't marketing. Storytelling is not storytelling. These are all words, in my opinion. And what it is what are you learning? If you can find a way to teach through your own eyes, share your own sentiments of your own journey, that's what marketing is, I think, in this day and age. That's why TikTok is so big, because people can now share elements of what they're experiencing, like the articles, and it's through the lens of this company, and this is why it's exciting video content. And I mean, also going into when shooting, because I also come from production. When start figuring out how to do bulk shoots, it takes more time. It's a full day's work, but from there you can learn the problems. You can learn that you need lights, you need sound, you need X, Y, and Z. But the biggest challenge is starting. I mean, I found a lot of people stuck on strategy and doing the documentation of it. First, I'd say do a demo. So when you have a good idea, if you have the flow of it, go and write it out. I know Miss Maya is more about the strategy and executing on strategy. Um, but I'm more of the, let's say, fluid. I like to also put out the content and see how people engage with it for a taste, maybe um, just to get a better sense of where the content needs to go. From where I come, it's no, I came from marketing and sales, and now I went into content. So my content, when I'm creating it, it's not more of what do I want people to buy. It's how can I hide the sale, because people don't want to be sold to, right? So just looking at those, I mean, just to add on, like when you're doing your website, you need to have a good call to action. You can't have multiple. Your website design is marketing, it's not anything else. Your business development is marketing. Everything that an organization does is part marketing. So when you're in an organization, or when you're building your organization, please always consider that. Don't cut out the marketing team, because at the end, even events is marketing. All of these things have the elements of marketing to them. So when you're building out your website, the design, it's important to have a marketer in the room, because they'll tell you, let's open up a room of experienced individuals, a focus group, of our clients to say what they feel, and we can get feedback. But when we're building and you go through MVP, version 1, version 2, version 3, and you're always finding that adoption is the problem, probably because you didn't have marketing in the room. Yeah, and also when you're doing your marketing, it's important to also look at revenue. Like, yeah, you have a budget and you are looking to get paid, and you've proven that this is the ROI in terms of maybe some organizations don't have anything that they're selling, but most of the businesses on chain or on that you'd be working with are looking to have a return on their sale. So I usually say 10% conversion. So if you're going to be spending a certain amount of, I mean, if we're going to be doing a certain amount of work towards building a campaign, I've always wonder where the money comes from. Pardon my French, I'll explain. So, I mean, the content creator or the production crew will create content worth 40,000 because they get paid, right? So that costed at 40,000, 50,000. The content creator, or if you bring in an influencer, gets their piece of it. So let's just give them a 50 as well. So that's 100,000. And then go into putting up the ad and get 3 likes. That's a video that cost you 100,000. So before you go into spending the big bucks, first, find people that also are in the same, I mean, their audiences rhythm with your audience, and the content also rhythms with your with your audience. I've seen more, and I've seen a lot of people go into marketing with the mindset of just do, that person's dance moves and all of that, and you ideally stop being relevant. So it's important to know who you're targeting and why you're creating the content. Is it if you have like an NFT drop, and then you have guys dancing around it? I mean, what's the sale? And it all costs money. So when we're looking at doing marketing, and I'm looking at it from a perspective of all of you are founders. So when you're doing marketing, it's not a budget for marketing for 300,000. It's how does it break down into bringing back value? And as a marketer, or as somebody who, everybody should be a marketer, everybody should endeavor to learn marketing. As a marketer, you should also look at investment versus ROI. If month one you're spending more, it's fine. Month two till six, you're supposed to be spending. But after month six, you're supposed to be converting. It's a sales funnel. So I like when Miss Maya said they're cousins. Sales and marketing are cousins, and they have to, relate. They could even be married in the same house, for all I know at this point. So marketing and sales, when you're doing it, it's supposed to be, because you can market in a spiral. And that's what I've noticed for most organizations, is putting out content, putting out content, putting out content. And when I'm watching it, there's no buy now or convert here or join here. It's just keep selling videos. And you have a big audience on your social media, but if you don't take them off social media, or if you can't figure out how you get them to your platform where you can actually interact with them, either via newsletter, subscription, I mean, register for what's it called, an in-person conversation, a consultation, whatever the service is, you have to have a funnel where people, you can get mass on social media, but where do they go? And that's, part of the design of working with developers. Most developers in the ecosystem are building what they like. It's easy for me to use because I've used multiple. So it's important to consider your conversion matrix. The matrix is important. So learn how to read it. It's very, I mean, direct and self-explanatory in a way when you're reading the data. In 5,000, you spend 5,000 Kenya shillings, and the ad only performed X amount of times organically, then that's where you need to fix the content. Use multiple ad sets, A B test your content before anything. Just I wish people gave marketing more time. It's not a rush thing. It's like somebody said, it's consistent, it's tireless, and it needs to be given a little bit more recognition, in my opinion. So if you're a market in the room, clock it. We're looking for more money. What I'd like to add as well is social media is dead. Now platform marketing is alive. So there's no one content piece fits all platforms. There's what your brand represents on X. There's what your brand represents on LinkedIn. There's what your brand represents on Instagram. So my advice to most people starting out in the business space, know your audience. Don't be taking a design brand to LinkedIn. Yes, it's good to publish your story and document what you're doing on LinkedIn, but you're not going to convert as much as you would on Instagram. And you only have a very small team in the beginning, I'm sure a small budget. So expanding your bandwidth in the right locations is the most value for your buck. So don't go in, create all the platforms. Like I always tell people, you only need LinkedIn and X. That means you don't need photographers and videographers. You don't have products you're selling. So photos of you and the CEO, you can take photos with your phone. So also, just let me insist on, don't overcomplicate it. Me, I love my mentor's words. Always keep it simple, stupid. Always. Like, don't try and complicate that we need cameras, we need lights. I've been one of the people that has been complexed by those things, and until you have them, then you realize that, oh my, it's the same thing I was doing with the same small equipment I had. I was just so focused on getting it bigger, and that's something I always remind guys, like, remember that whatever you're chasing is already here. So that's what you're marketing, the value of now, the value of where you are, the presence of mind. And I said that already, learn as you go. Yeah, and marketing is a full-time job. So when you decide, there's no half-hearted, and I mean, I'll ask Miss Maya to also come back and say, there's no half-hearted marketing. Like, you find every day, it's it's an insatiable addiction. Like, it, once you understand marketing, you see it in everything. You see it in Coca-Cola, you see it in Nescafe. You start seeing that I feel something when I see this video, but I don't feel anything when I see this video. And then there's other ones that don't have any emotion towards them, but they capture your attention. So understand the different models of marketing as well that you can employ. Marketing is not one straight line, like I said, it's multiple facets. You could use articles, you could use blogs, you could use a diary. Give you an example. Let's use Blue Band as an example. Blue Band has used kids in their ads. Blue Band has also used musicians in their ads. They have created jingles around their products. So they're not even selling margarine anymore. They're just selling us an experience. It's for everyone. So it's not, and that's the it factor. Like, if you keep it simple, you start realizing that your marketing needs to be very emotive. Like, it's not about having an hour long video, it's about having that 30-second video that leaves people wanting more. Now you're in the marketing game, in my opinion. When your content wants me to, when Maya puts down her pen or the keyboard and says, and that's it for this week, I'm like, no, that's not enough for this week. We need more. Then you start getting people, um, involved in what you're doing. So yeah, and then content creation. I mean, just get up and go. Like, get your camera, shoot in that nasty corner. Imagine nobody cares but you. And this is a human thing. It's a perception thing. You feel like you're worse off than the rest person. It's that thing they say in English. Um, how does it go? The neighbor's farm is not as, if you want, I mean, the neighbor's grass, I mean, it's always, the grass is always greener on the other side. That's what everybody says. So it's the whole saying, I think it ends with, but it can be green if you water it on your end as well. So just start. Like don't start thinking about you have to leave the house and go sijui where. Tell a story. And learn a little bit of editing, CapCut here and there. I mean, there are tools that you can use. And yeah, we're gonna do an editing class, and we have many communities that do those classes. So please join the Discord if you haven't. Come and ask in the general chats. I'd like to learn more about editing. Tag the content team, and somebody will respond to you, and you can build a relationship through there. Um, I cannot insist on physical events for being able to engage with your community. Like in this room, I've met a couple of you and you speak to me. But in this room, you're very quiet. So digital screens usually have that first disadvantage to them. I'm just looking through my notes. Yeah. So now social media or marketing has become a pay to play game. Everybody is selling ads and it's heavily saturated, and you're blocking ads. So when Miss Maya said you have ad blockers, it just prompted me to remember to say that always consider what you're doing is your audience, the same thing they're doing. Because we're targeting people that you like, your friends, your inner circle. There's many people like that. That's how even social media ads work. First, it finds a persona. I mean, it builds a persona. It targets a certain caliber of audience, starting with maybe month of date of birth or month of birth, and then it builds from there. It tries all of the people during that year, and by chance, two or three. So it tries all of the months, then it collects them and puts them in a database. These are all the guys who clicked throughout the year. Then it goes to the second tier where it looks for something similar between all of you. Maybe we all like Luther Vandross. And it puts that as a criteria and it looks through all of those data points. And if it finds somebody that isn't a fan, it kicks them out or creates another data set. So, like I always tell people, when you're running ads, most of the time, maybe it's not that it's not performing. Maybe you just shut it down before it started performing because all the ad engines will take time to adapt to your content or to find your right audience. So give it time, and take it slow. Build audiences based on what you like first because that's how you got into the business in the first place. You wouldn't be on crypto if you didn't think, or on blockchain if you didn't find one or two things interesting. So yeah, I already talked about yeah, and then brand building. Lastly, is I mean, don't go with a closed mindset. I like to say, don't go with a glass half empty. Go with a glass half full mentality. Like you know something, but you're always looking for more information. And the half empty approach is you know better than everyone else, and you want to give us the other piece of what you know. Um, and just to insist what Miss Maya said, like always talk, talk to people at events. If you're in the marketing, even if you're in the blockchain space, talk about blockchain, understand what the niche is or what the in conversation is. Is it NFTs? Is it real world assets? Then go and start learning real world assets. And when you go through those 10 websites and all of them don't tell you anything that you don't know, and then you find that one gem, talk about that gem. People will follow your brand because we can give you loyalty. I mean, we can trust that you will give us uh, good quality. You will deliver on what you promise. Those are the things. So, what do you build your brand around is also important. Are you fun? If you're fun, then you know. If you're wholesome and you want to come up as what's it called, the brand identity circle thingy, forget about it. So yeah, there's a place where you fall in. It's either you're classy, you're fun, you're vibrant, you're energetic. There's this called branding wheel or something like that. I think Miss Maya, you can remind me. So yeah, wherever you fall on that is now where your audience classifies. And yeah, lastly, don't sell um moe on the street because no one will buy. I'll give you one example as I leave you. The most expensive cars are not sold on car lots. They're sold next to planes. On plane, what's it called? Those open days where people come and showcase their planes. This is just to say that people who buy planes don't mind paying $1 million for a car. But people who are coming to buy cars, when you tell them $1 million, they're going to be shocked. So, know where to sell your product is the most important thing. If you're going to sell your product for cheap, then it's not your client's problem. And then lastly, know how to price your product and grow with your pricing. So when you have 100 clients, you can increase your pricing a little bit so that you reduce the amount of clients, because quality and quantity don't go together much, and speed. So you have to know how many you can manage. When your quality goes, I mean, when the demand goes up, you go up with price a little bit, not too much that you shake your clients. But all of these are things that we can get into deeper with, another workshop. Miss Maya, I think I've kind of exhausted my thoughts, unless something else pops up into my mind.
Oh, Aziz, honestly, like you've dropped so many gems, and thank you so much for your 2 cents, because like you've rounded it all up and you've also gone deeper into like some of the things I said, and also introduced like new aspects to it. So thank you so much. Like trust me, I was taking notes. I was taking notes when you were talking. And there are two things that for me stood out is first you talked about having human centric content, which we also touched on in the brand building part. And I'm going to share what I see. So, by the way, when I talk about marketing, I'm not just talking about it as a marketer, I'm actually talking about it as like a customer or a client or a community member. And I'm sharing the things I've noticed. So, when I look through like different pages, like their Twitter, their LinkedIn, um, it's almost like very like rigid. It's like people are afraid to express themselves, express their product. And I'm not saying you go crazy, right, with how you're expressing yourself, but I'm just going to give you like some proper alpha on this. The people or the companies or the teams that are curious and that are bold are the ones that are going to win. And notice I've not said the richest teams or the richest companies. You could have the biggest marketing budget and your campaigns flop like crazy. And you could have like a team that is always experimenting, trying different things. Like the one that just came into my mind is Duolingo. So for those of you guys who are not familiar with Duolingo, uh, how do I say it? It's a language learning platform. So if you want to learn French, if you want to learn Kiswahili, you can use it as like a guide to learn languages. So there's this lady called Zaria who used to be the social media manager, and she took up the account, especially on TikTok. And she noticed like people don't want to always be sold stuff to, like download this, get that, sign up for this. Yes, you can have those few posts where there's a call to action, like something specific you want people to do. But at the end of the day, you guys, we are human beings. We want to laugh, we want to cry, we want to learn something interesting. Sometimes you want gist. So what she did is she put together this like mascot of an owl, which was inspired by the Duolingo logo. And it will just be dancing in the videos. nowhere in most of those videos are they saying download or do this or do that. It's just vibing. They're all is just dancing. People in the office are just making skits. And that human aspect of us like connecting, laughing, POV content, relatable stuff, that goes such a long way. She grew the account to over like 5 million followers, which is like such a feat in itself. So, like, try and dig deep into those human aspects. Sometimes throw in a post of like you having a cup of tea or just something normal of you on the border rushing to meet a client, like it doesn't have to be like that intense. Trust me, people want to connect to a human being. Even when they're following a brand, a company brand, they want that human aspect. That's something that's not going to go anywhere. And then the last thing that I want to say for this one, I have to like literally open my camera because I've noticed it's like something that is holding so many people back. And Aziz has touched on it, and he was basically talking about like shame and feeling ashamed to show up in the world. And I'm telling you guys, the unashamed are the ones winning out here. Like the people who are just like, you know what? I'm going to try this, even if it's people think it's stupid, if people think that it's overdone, I'm still going to do it. And I will say from what I've seen, especially when I talk to people who want to build their personal brands or even their company brand, I would say shame is like the biggest obstacle. It's not even like you don't have the tools. I mean, these days we have cloud, we have ChatGPT, we have Canva. Some of you guys have some extra coins to like do paid ads. It's not that. It's shame. Like people are afraid to be seen, to show up, right? And that's something that you have to work through in your journey. It's like, why are you afraid of the camera? Because I'll know people who are like, okay, I want to create content, I want to do this, but hey, me, I don't like being seen in front of the camera. And it's like, you need to sit down with yourself and ask yourself why. What is it about being seen on camera that makes you scared? Are you scared that people will say certain things about how you look? Exactly. Shame is a social construct. Like, what in your mind, what's the story that plays in your mind that's keeping you from actually showing up, from posting that blurry picture? I know sometimes we can be so elitist where it's like, oh, I can only post photos from my iPhone. I want to see that picture from your techno of you, entering the matatu and having a conversation with your client. Like, trust me, these things that we overthink, they're the ones holding you back. And the more you keep like staying small, the more you get further and further away from your goals. And this is also something I've had to learn. It's also something I'm working on. Just putting myself out there because I do tend to be more of an introverted person. I can get like really bad social anxiety, and I'm just always like, oh my gosh, do I really want to show up? Or what will people think? But over time, I've come to like, let me say, look beyond those thoughts. Because I also think some of us think we have to wait until these feelings or these moments exit. But it's like about being able to handle the discomfort, right? So the discomfort is not going anywhere. What you're doing is you're like expanding your capacity for holding that discomfort. So even if you don't like, for example, your camera being on, hold the capacity for that discomfort slowly. You can even start off by having a background. I normally see people have those like really cool backgrounds. It's a gradual process. But the more you like overthink what other people are thinking, people who are not even thinking about you, like I guarantee, if you ask me right now, and I scrolled on Twitter today, I can't remember the last post I saw. I can't even remember the last thing I reposted. So like work through those feelings of shame, whether it's about your company or your personal brand. trust and believe, like that'll take you a long way, because you have to show up in the world, even in this digital world. Eventually you have to show up, whether it's your camera on, whether it's physically being at an event, having an interview talk, like you're going to have to show up in the world if you want to be successful in whatever you're doing. And so start like working on that muscle pole pole, and eventually you'll get to where you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be untoward of us if we did not talk about AI content as well, and you being able. I mean, in this day and age, it's a medium as well, and you can also use it in the beginning. Like go get a nice photo of yourself, and get that nice background, and then go and figure out how you make that image the narrator giving out the content that you want to give out. But also just, I mean, voiceless videos. I mean, you can get through those hurdles if you focus on the subject. I mean, on the matter at hand, and the matter is communication. Marketing and sales and all of them just fall under that one umbrella that is communication. So if you can teach, if you can explain to somebody and they can understand what you're talking about, then you're in the marketing game, in my opinion. You just need to practice and repeat, and consistently listen, and don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't get to a point and say, I know better than most. It's all an opportunity for us to just express our models of communication, and hopefully, I mean, reach somebody. That's how I look at it. One person at a time, not this mass adoption thing that people keep talking about. It's about understanding, I mean, building an algorithm, understanding one by one how people perceive the brand, perceive. You could be working for an organization that is on the wrong side of the spectrum in terms of what they promise and what they deliver. I mean, we all know about these multinational organizations that dump waste everywhere around the world. So, I mean, also understand the nature of the business that you're in and the culture. Maybe it might be something as simple as just telling the truth sometimes, and sometimes it's, I mean, there's the element of PR, and you have to know that maybe your organization took a left when they should have taken a right, and it wasn't intentional. It was a misjudgment or a mistake. Like, for example, Binance, most recently, I think CZ was caught with a money laundering case. And in a way, at that time, I remember it feeling a bit reminiscent to FTX. And I was like, wait a minute, move my money outside Binance, because the company is going to fall as well. And that's when Binance came out, or the marketing team came out, and they reassured us that they're handling it, and if anything, this is where we are secure. you know they gave us a security. So know which model of marketing you're in, or which phase you're in. If they came out telling us buy more NFTs or buy more tokens, I would have been more suspicious. So just learning and exploring marketing as a thesis. That's what I'd say. Like every day, just try and endeavor to see how they did it, and if any cross sections appear, how you can implement it as well for the brand that you work with. So not all creatives work for all brands, but some of them do cut across, and that gets you on the journey to understanding how better your brand can be understood and perceived.
Yeah, perfect. And like you said, with PR, you're going to make mistakes, public mistakes. And I think that's why I also understand the hesitancy of like being active online and posting. Your company will make some missteps. Maybe you as a personal brand, you'll make some mistakes, some wrong judgments. And I think the focus from then on should be on how to come back from that. So, for example, there was a company that had a hack. I've forgotten one of these exchanges, and the way the CEO and the exec team like jumped in. They were doing Twitter lives. They're saying, "Hey guys, we are monitoring the situation. We've had this and this hacker to like find out how it happened and bring the money back." Like they even redeemed themselves in the eyes of people because of how they handled that misstep. So these things are going to happen. These mistakes are going to happen. And I think once you like accept the imperfect nature of uh, marketing, of PR, of putting yourself out there as a company, then you're able to like move forward because you know, like, okay, if this happens, for example, if people are hacked, this is what's in place to make sure maybe the money is returned. Or if someone complains about something, this is how we respond to them, like in the comment section or in the DMs. That way, like, you're not like hiding in a corner and like so like rigid. You're flexible and open and you're able to like shift through things. So yeah, that's a really good point. So thank you so much. Yes, I think it's Bybit. Yes, it was Bybit. Yeah, they handled it so well. Um, so thank you everyone again for being part of this session, for your insights, for just paying attention and being here. I really appreciate it. Marketing is really important, like Aziz said, and unfortunately, in this tech space, there's still a bit of a lack of support or even a lack of understanding of the importance of marketing or the creative humanity world in the space. But over time, we're seeing the importance of it because tech can't exist alone. Like I said, art and science, those are brothers. They go together. They work together. One is not more important than the other, and when they come together, like magic truly happens. So please go and research on marketing, even if you're not a marketer, even if you're a dev. Just try and understand the trends in the space. And of course, I would love to connect with you guys on X at CryptoChick56, and on LinkedIn you can connect with me at Wanjiro Moka. And yeah, thank you again to the Builder DAO team for hosting this. Thank you so much to Aziz for even creating this community and having us all here together. And I hope I see you guys on these Web3 streets.
Thank you, Miss Mine. Always a pleasure. I mean, I don't think I want an year to pass that we haven't discussed our different perspectives of how the space is growing. In Monday, I think we should just sit down and do like a small podcast and talk about that and see how that goes. But yeah, my last, like I said in the chats, my last words would be finish what you started. Like that's one of um, the biggest challenges, and I'll go to a quote that I really, really like. It goes, when you start, I mean, people will only cheer for you when you start and when you finish. The in between is up to you. So figure it out, go in deep end and always remember when it's silent, there's somebody somewhere waiting for that message that you're holding back on, and just share it, rip the bandage off. So yeah, pretty much. Right now I was hacked, so Koala Web3 Studios on my X, and I think everyone here has found me on Twitter. I mean on LinkedIn already, but I am Aziz, Aziz Motomoto or Anthony Aziz. Yeah, I'll give you a bio of my life, but not to take too much time. This was a nice call, and I want you guys to also take the next few minutes to go and look at different organizations and their marketing strategies. Start from an organization level, not just content perspective where you're just scrolling or doom scrolling. Go find the brand that you like, that you relate to, and just open up a diary and start writing what you like about them, and then you'll start seeing the correlations between the existence of just the content and the meaning that got you to convert. Maybe they didn't even know what they were doing sometimes, when they were doing it. And that's what marketing is, experiment, experiment, experiment. And yeah, I leave you with that. And let's meet IRL. Miss Maya, we have a lot of events coming up 2026. We hope we can see. We want to do a lot of masterclass events and many, many conversations where we can do active, practical workshops where we can see the conversion week by week. So yeah, come along, guys. I mean, the Bonanza is just a beginning. It's not an ending, or it's not to say that it's the end of the year. It's a beginning of new relationships. And yeah, not don't believe everything you see on social media. Mm, I'll leave you with that. Marketers are doing the most to make sure that you're buying. So, check twice, and maybe that's your niche, the voice of the people in the marketing space. What you see is what you can tell us about. Your X channel, please, on the chats, Miss Wanjiku. So yeah, I'll just leave you with that, guys. Go watch content, not movies, um, and go and relate to people, not products. Okay. So that's my 2 cents for the day, Miss Abby. I'll leave it to you.
Wow, wow, wow. I told you guys our speakers are bomb. Amazing, amazing people. Oh my God, Miss Wanjiru, I've learned so much because I feel like my sector is more in the marketing space than in development. So, oh my God, thank you so much. And I feel like this day being the last day, it was actually worth it, like super, super worth it. I feel like everyone has learned a lot. Kindly, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Let's ask questions because I feel like um, everyone says that we need to do marketing, but how do we really need to do marketing? Why don't other companies come sit and say we need to teach these people how to do it? Um, People hire others to expecting them to bring specific results, and they don't tell them how to do it or how I want that to be achieved and what I really want. And if something bad happens, all the blame is on you. So this day, oh my God, it was a really nice session, honestly. And apart from the Dow Day, I feel like this is my second favorite day. So, or even my first favorite day. But yeah, kindly if you have any questions, kindly let's ask. 5 minutes, and then after that we go to our announcements and other updates. Yeah, thank you.
No, as a DAO member, not as a speaker. Thank you, everyone that's followed along through the whole campaign on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and TikTok, and a bunch of the other live streams. There was an idea that we can use social media as a bridge to uh, take these conversations on the road and also merge them with physical events. And, like ideally create a spotlight on what everyone is doing in and around the continent. Next year, we're going to go bigger, and it's going to be more IRL events across the continent, and more speakers, more ideas, and possibly even more gifts and airdrops. And it's up to the community at large. So everyone in the community, and you guys can also join the community. It's like Miss Maya said, it's community. It's you guys decide where you want the money to go, how you want it to be spent by vote, and it's zero, I mean 0.11, 0.015 ETH. That's about 40, 45, $43 right now. And that's lifetime. That's your lifetime membership. You can buy more, get more votes, Or you can even just come to the call and give ideas, and ideally have one of the members with an NFT delegate an NFT to you that you can use to put up proposals and champion your great ideas. The DAO, we're trying to see that in a new way of work where we've seen content creators work their own way. We've seen developers go into their own space where they're just building and earning and building their own organizations. So why not have you champion your marketing campaign, or you focus on building an organization that you've always dreamt of? I mean, I like what Trufena is doing, and I'd like to see the DAO support more initiatives like hers, where she broke the world record. Congratulations to Trufena if she ever hears this. I mean, for championing a cause and sticking to it. So that's what we do. I mean, it's not my way, Abby's way, Maya's way. It's all of your ways. Like, if you want to host, host. If you want to teach us something, teach us something. And that's what we're raising the money for. It's not to pay us only, pay the core contributors. I mean, you can be a contributor as well. So we want you to get paid. So at the core of it, it is a community that uses tech to fund projects and work together to get paid together. So now it's kind of like the idea of the family you chose. Imagine that if you had the chance to choose where you wanted to work, and you had the power to affect the culture of how people operate there, how they speak, how they carry themselves, and you had a choice when somebody went against the common norm, you could have somewhere to say, look, this is why, I'm having a disagreement, and maybe you can have mediators rather than broken bridges or relationships. So it's an idea to create a safe space. And we use Discord as our virtual space. I know this last 2 weeks we've been more here, but every other day we're on Discord doing one thing or another in terms of tech, supporting the organizations that we work with in different facets. We are currently running a campaign, the first 500, where we're working with businesses from across the landscape, across the divide, from food, fashion, science, I mean, not science, sports, um, art, performance, creatives, and it's a lot of work, just to say the least. And it takes a lot of commitment, and it would be easier if we were many of us. Like we said, many hands make light work. So if you have a few hours to spare, like to contribute some way or another, I mean, I will promise you that it's not for nothing. It's always for value. And Miss Maya is one of the people that taught me this earlier on. Like how much. You have to know how much you can afford to pay for the service. So, and I mean, she was telling me, just to give you context, she was telling me to always understand how to value the product as well. And that's a marketing thing as well. We can jump into that when we get into the masterclass. But yes, amazing, amazing conversations and amazing opportunities around the continent. And the DAO is just a subway to connect you. Miss Maya, I'll send you a link. I think there's a community you really like. They're called Create on Base. Shout out Ryan. He's doing an amazing thing down there, working with creatives. And it's all about levels. That's what I'd like to say. Like, even shooting Miss Maya that intro, it's more to say that she's currently in a space where she can extract or get value from the community, tap into the community. Um, but as you grow in the space, you start understanding nuances and different conversations, and then you can be plugged in. So if everyone can be plugged in. It's not just Miss Maya. And these communities are for everyone. Just want you to understand more and more before you go there, and just find yourself sitting on a call for 6 to 10 hours and not understanding where it's going. So come along. Um, it's going to be an exciting year, 2026, and we have a few events coming up at the end of the year. Most notably, firstly, happy holiday if you're in Kenya. Happy holiday for to all the Kenyans, and I think it's Mashujaa Day. Don't shoot me. Happy Mashujaa Day, and you guys have a restful day. guys who are traveling to um, UK on Saturday with us for the trip. We're going to be staying there for the night, barbecue, bonfire. We'll send photos if you're not there. We will send the heat on the WhatsApp group, and hopefully next year we'll have more, people along to the campaign, more building. Jamhuri Day. Okay. So we'll have more people along for the campaign. Hopefully, we'll have more sponsors along for the campaign as well, so we can facilitate most of this. But at the end of it, at the core of it, we want the community to be able to self-fund, and that's a dream we have at the DAO. So if you can come contribute, let's earn money together. Let's contribute and buy NFTs. Let's exercise governance, and maybe in the near future we'll have a governance model that we all work towards you know. So yeah, thank you. Miss Abby, at the end of it, we're going to also have a few events announced. I think we're going to have one on the 31st of December. Not too sure, possibly here in Nairobi and in the coast. A lot of work. So if you can come and you like planning and you like doing tech and you like events and you like building and you want to do marketing and you're ready to be in the cut of it, please come join us. We really welcome you to come and join, and we'll work it out as we go along, right? Miss Abigail, thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Motomoto. Sorry, 1 minute. Hello, hello. Thank you. Thank you so much, Motomoto. Thank you so much, Mr. Wanjiru. As you heard from Motomoto, next is gonna be a banger. It's gonna be different. Um, sponsors, inshallah, and yeah, gets to do more physical events and gets to meet up IRL. Um, so that wraps up the 12 nights of Christmas Bonanza. A huge thank you to Miss Wanjiru and Motomoto for sharing their insights, and to all of you guys for being such an engaged and amazing audience. But you know what? The fun doesn't stop there. You know I'm your plug girly for events. So this weekend on the 13th of December, we are taking it offline. No laptop, no work, no nothing. So we are taking it offline for the Road to Gala Naniki edition, brought to you by Builder Dow. Mad Max karting, expect off-road karting, a bonfire, games, barbecue, full vibes and memories you won't forget. Um, so if you want to participate, and for those who are already participating, guys, I can't wait to see you guys over there. Miss Maya, if you want to come over, maybe I can share the details with you. Guys, happy holidays. It was amazing being your host this 12 days, okay, 11 days. It is amazing listening from the amazing speakers, from the Bonanza Uno to Dow Carnival to today marketing. Oh my God, everything was on point. The speakers, we learned a lot, insights. Like I'm telling you guys, if you missed from day one, you've missed a lot. And yeah, so thank you so much. I can see Miss Lulu is in the room. She can say hi, and then after that, the tech team can play us off with music. Thank you guys. It was lovely being your host. See you next year, and for those we are meeting this weekend, see you there. Thank you. Miss Lulu ain't around, so if you have anything to comment, kindly ask in the WhatsApp group. And thank you guys. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Mashujaa Day to Kenyans. Thank you so much.
Yes, please feel free to leave at your leisure. The call has ended. We're just gonna play one more song. And yeah, again, happy holidays. Thank you to the Build It Out team. This wouldn't have been possible without you guys.